Welcome to 2 cents short of a dollar, the show where we give our 2 cents and keep it 100. We're your hosts. That's Motiz. I'm Rue, and today we're discussing the NBA. So right now it looks really wide open, and I kind of just want to get your thoughts on the playoffs so far. Do you think the NBA is in a good state right now with this? Probably no favorite. Of course, there's a favorite, but it's not like other years, right? So how do
Right.
you feel about the playoffs right now?
I think that this is probably one of the best first rounds that we've probably seen in a while. You know, you have series with the Miami Heat versus the Bucks, right?
That's growing into a crazy rivalry, don't you think? They met 4 years in a row now.
Yeah, exactly. That's a crazy rivalry. Seen Golden State Warriors and the Kings. You see Celtics and Atlanta. They put up a good fight. So there's some good games. Some surprises from certain teams, right? That I didn't expect. You know, Knicks versus Cleveland, right? So I guess what are the two teams that surprised you the most during these playoffs, first round?
Number one is the Knicks because they smoked the Cavs. I had the Cavs winning that series, and you've told me all year you didn't believe in the Cavs, and I told you I thought the Cavs were a pretty good team. And then for them to go out like that towards the Knicks, they have a young core. I'm saying don't overreact, don't blow it up, but you need to really look into yourselves this all season and say, whoa, we weren't supposed to go out like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Tom Thibodeau just gets the most out of his guys, yo. He really just does, yo. He really does. But the Knicks surprised me. They smoked Cleveland, bro. Smoked them.
Smoked them 4-1.
Yeah. And then the second most surprising team to me, I want to go with Miami, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna come right back to Miami. I would say the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings, man. I can't lie. That whole like the beam on them thing, like that whole it just
concept.
It just feels good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not a Sacramento Kings fan, but it just makes you want to get behind them. You know what I'm saying? Like the beam. You know what I'm saying?
So beat me up.
Yeah, but yo, not the team, just Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler just continues to rise to the occasion during the playoffs, right? Especially with them losing their leading scorer, regular season scorer in Tyler Herro. But he rose to the occasion, giving him pieces, 40 pieces. He out there playing, you know, all the minutes in the world and getting that and helping them get over the hump. And of course, yes, the Bucks Giannis missed a few games. His last game, you know, he played very well. Of course, if you're not accounting for the missed free throws.
12, right? Like 12 was it? I think it was
13. Yeah, 12 or 13, which is ridiculous. He's not a great free throw shooter to begin with, right? So that's here nor there. But of course, the fault still kind of is on him when you're missing that many free throws. At the end of the day, the Bucks as a team kind of dropped the ball, right? When you're the number one seed, you know, and you're losing to 8th seed, it's kind of like, you know, that's very concerning, you know. So that's one that the Miami Heat surprised me. The second team, I was going to say the Kings for the same reason you've listed. They making Golden State struggle, and the reason why is because, like I mentioned to you, I was not a believer in the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? Yeah, they're a good young team. They're doing well in the regular season, but you see it from time to time again, right? In the past, you see these teams do very well in the regular season, and come playoffs, they don't do well, right? Like Utah, right? Like the Hawks in the past when they had Jeff Teague, you know, Al Horford, right? And I thought the Kings were one of those teams. You do well in the regular season, come playoffs, you're not going to do so well. But of course, they have, you know, the top coach. And of course, he matches up with the team. He has a very good understanding about their playbook, the players, right? So I think coaching has helped them a lot in that area. But I would say those are the two teams.
Yeah. So to go back to the Milwaukee situation, you know, of course, I understand Giannis was hurt. But when he came back, you guys were down 2-1, right? Yeah, they were down 2-1 when Giannis came back.
Were they down 2? Oh, no, you're right. They were down 2-1. Yeah.
So Giannis, at that point, being the best player on the floor, I think was in a position to win those last 2 games that they lost that got them eliminated. You know what I mean? So I'm not like calling for criticism on him. I don't care about that. But I'm interested to see what the narrative's going to be, because with like certain other players, what would they say in this situation? You know what I'm saying? But I know Giannis is a well-liked guy, but I think he just didn't rise to the occasion the way Jimmy did. Jimmy tapped into a different kind of place. He went Super Saiyan mode, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, and really brought that home. And it's crazy because remember the Bucks lost to the Heat in the bubble. Then they came back and beat the Heat. Then they threw out that sub tweet, yeah, this ain't the bubble no more.
Yeah,
But
and it was crazy. I have a question too. Sorry to interrupt you too.
yeah,
Do you think you mentioned Giannis as being a variable, right? But do you think like anything else had a role to play, right? We know that, and we discussed the injuries, but like even coaching, like just allowing Jimmy Butler to go crazy, like no adjustments being made. Like what other variables do you think played a role in Miami beating the Bucks?
I really don't know, and I know that's kind of like a cop out answer, but I really don't know because like there was times when Drew Holiday was helping out, Chris Middleton was helping out, like they had leads, double digit leads, and still like lost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't like, maybe it just seemed like the Heat was just a tougher team.
Yeah.
And they were just gonna keep pushing forward, like they were just a tougher team, and it's crazy because you know, like you said, without Tyler Hero, that's one of their main scorers. You know, like but to Jimmy to go get 56.
Yeah.
Giannis being a former defensive player of the year or somebody has to like stop that. You know what I'm saying? And then for him to
I agree.
follow it up with 42, it's insane.
Yeah, I agree. I think Giannis came out with a statement too. Like he's always going to defer to his coach, but he felt like he needed to take on that role to step up and guard Jimmy. But at the end of the day, he's always going to defer to his coach. But
yeah,
kind of underlining, kind of saying like he wanted to guard Jimmy, but he kind of just respected his coach's decision to kind of just stay, in the front court or stay in the back.
Mike Budenholzer is gonna get fired.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's out there.
He's out of here because they were gonna fire him before, but Giannis low bridging Kyrie and hurting his ankle, getting him out that series, which I think led to them winning that series, saved Mike Budenholzer's job because they went on to win it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if they would have lost that year, he would have been out of there.
Yeah, he's done.
No, he's out of there now. But they may look at Nick Nurse. I think Nick Nurse is an excellent coach, and with the kind of defensive schemes I've seen Nick Nurse throw at people before, I can't even imagine what he would do with the length that the Bucks have.
Absolutely, like this defensive scheme that he'll be able to throw, the creative frameworks he'll have. Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. But
so I gotta ask you too.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have some of the teams that surprised us, right? And we'll probably in another segment we'll probably discuss how the second round is going to go. But we have one team left, right? That's still holding up kind of the first round. And
one series left. Yeah.
One series left, I would say. One game, one series left, which is the Kings and Golden State Warriors. How do you see that series ending?
So, and I'm gonna give my initial thoughts. Because actually, one of my good friends, my brother Key to the Game, actually had me on his podcast, and we were actually discussing this. So I want to give a shout out to his podcast. He's gonna do some great things in the basketball space. We were discussing this, and I told him I just thought Golden State was too experienced. I thought their experience would be the biggest factor, and that would help them beat Sacramento.
Right.
So as of today, recording, Game 6 was just last night, and Sacramento beat Golden State in Golden State's house, and they showed me like a different level of just readiness. And man, they got me on board, man. I'm ready to light the beam. I got Sacramento in Game 7. I think they're gonna go back home and win a very tough game in Game 7. But that backcourt, that Kentucky backcourt that they got of De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, bro, yeah. And I think they're going to be a little bit better with the foul trouble. And Mike Brown, I mean, Golden State's Golden State, right? You can't stop him, but he knows that team well.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He knows that team well. And I just think Sacramento right now is the better team. Would I be surprised if the Warriors win? No, because they got the experience. You know what I'm saying? They've been there before. They've been down to what I would consider better teams, you know what I'm saying, and come back. Yeah. But I just think Sacramento got the momentum right now, and I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. They have all the momentum in the world. And what concerns me is the fact that, Jordan Poole isn't really playing his best. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you have De'Aaron Fox still playing phenomenal last game with a broken finger, and his dominant hand, which is his left hand. And he's still giving it to them. So You know, it's going to be really tough for Golden State Warriors for Game 7. I think it's a toss-up game.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, just with history, what history writes, especially with home court advantage, the momentum, I'm leaning a bit towards the Kings.
Yeah, because we didn't get a Game 6 Clay sighting, and we know how Clay is in Game 6. So I think you kind of weathered the storm right there. No Game 6 Clay.
You're good.
Yeah.
Good. You know,
So
so
I'm thinking
we'll see.
The Kings can't wait for the second round. I think we got some interesting matchups. But I mean, I like the feel of the NBA. I like how open it is, and then just that it kind of feels like anybody can win it. But when you look back at it, is there a team that you think maybe was the most disappointing for you? There's a single team.
Most disappointing. I mean, I would probably just have to probably lean more towards the Bucks, right? The team I was going to say, but they turned the series around, or they kind of nipped it in the bud, was the Celtics versus the Hawks, right? The Hawks had the potential to push it to Game 7. I was like, yo, Celtics, what are y'all doing? Why y'all allowing this team, you know, that's nowhere near your level, allowing them to push y'all to Game 7? But they kind of nipped it in the bud and got them out of there. But the fact that the Hawks even got 2 games, I didn't expect that. I expected a sweep or a 4-1, honestly.
Yeah.
So I would say the Hawks kind of did better than I expected. But I would say the most disappointing team, I'll probably just have to say the Bucks. Yeah, just overall as a team, as a unit. I can't really say Clippers because Kawhi out, or George out. You know, it's not. You know, and they fought tooth and nail, right? Russ has some good games, hooping. You know, so I would just definitely say that team is either between the Bucks or probably I want to say the Timberwolves, because the Timberwolves, man, like they're gonna have to make some adjustments. They may potentially end up trading Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yeah, I think Towns gonna go.
I think that's gonna end up being so. I think it's a toss up between those two teams for me in my eyes, right? Just because of the expectation I have for the Bucks, but the Wolves, my expectation isn't really too high. But come on, man, like y'all gotta fight better than that, you know? So
yeah. I guess with the question, I almost threw myself for a loop because I kind of like stopped thinking about the Bucks. The Bucks is the most disappointing, but I guess my runner-up team would be the Memphis Grizzlies. And not that I rate the Memphis Grizzlies that high, but when I watched them, I was just like, "What are you guys doing? Like this just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense." You know what I'm saying? Dylan Brooks, like what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like it just seemed like they didn't really have they weren't all on the same page. They didn't understand a common goal. You know what I'm saying? To me, their most engaged and best player was Desmond Bane.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Was Desmond Bane, but it's just like, and even though that's a much improved Laker team, I do think the league pulled some strings to get to help them at the trade deadline to make sure that they were situated. That's neither here nor there, but just whatever Memphis was doing, I know Ja wasn't right, but their schemes and game plans just made no sense to me. So I want to say they're my runner-up for most disappointing, even if they would have lost the series. But if I seen them play it in a fashion that made more sense, it was more logical, I would say, okay, got it. Y'all were just beat. The Lakers were just better. You know what I'm saying? But it was hard to watch them, man. It was hard to watch them. They got to do something there.
Yeah, they for sure gonna have to make some adjustments and kind of reevaluate that team. And I'll tell you, if they do make some trades, Dylan Brooks, you might be the first person out of there.
Yeah, but what is his value, bro? I thought he was a 3-and-D. He could hardly make a 3. He ain't no Pat Bev take a team to the play-in every year.
Yeah. You heard what Pat Bev said. We're gonna go to the playoffs.
Yeah, he ain't no Pat Bev take you to the play-in, jump on the table. You know what I'm saying?
Go crazy like you want to chip.
But we see results in there. You know what I'm saying? Like Dylan Brooks, it really didn't make sense to me. They're gonna have to reel him in. They got to do something, man. And there's no parade in that city.
I agree. I guess viewers, let us know. Who did you feel were the most disappointing teams in your honest opinion, and what series you enjoyed the most, and what are you expecting for the next round? So
yep, definitely. I echo all of those things. So of course, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you for getting us to where we are so far, and we'll keep heading to the top. So 2 cents short of $1. We'll be back again.